This is Twit.
We may all remember today as the day that the Federal Communications Commission changed the internet as we know it. The FCC voted in favor of a preliminary proposal to allow internet fast lanes with a 3-2 vote, while asking the public for comment on whether the commission should change the proposal before enacting final rules later this year. The FCC's notice of proposed rulemaking set back in 2010 addressed network neutrality, the concept that internet service providers need to treat all internet traffic equally, even from competitors. Those rules prevented ISPs from blocking content outright, but allow ISPs to charge third-party web services for a faster path to consumers. Those net neutrality rules were struck down in a federal appeals court ruling in January. The new rules are, again, still in proposal. And joining me to talk all about the complexities of this story today is Steve Kovac, senior editor at Business Insider. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back here. So today you co-wrote an article about this FCC proposal, and you say right off the top that it's likely to change the internet as we know it. So let's start with the rules that the commissioners voted on. How might things change if these rules are enforced?
Yeah, the biggest thing to pay attention to is here now that internet content companies, and we always use the example of Netflix, so I'll use that too, but it even counts companies like you guys at Twit, and they have the option now to pay for these so-called fast lanes where they pay the ISPs directly, so their content gets priority over the rest of the content on the internet. And the reason why that has people kind of up in arms lately is because when someone comes up with a new startup or the next Netflix or the next Twit or the next Business Insider or whatever bandwidth heavy, content delivery system over the internet, it's going to be tough for those people to afford to pay the ISPs for direct access to customers on those ISPs networks. And so right now, it's going to allow, those behemoths that are already established, Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Go, they can afford this. They're fine. They're not worried. And they're going to be able to get big. They're big now, and they're going to be able to get bigger, which will damage competition later on because they're going to have that advantage over some scrappy upstart who's trying to disrupt Netflix or disrupt Facebook or something like that. And that's what has people worried.
Right. Now, the next step is public comment, and that's including whether or not the FCC should ban paid prioritization. Why didn't the commission just vote to ban it?
I think this is just to kind of save face a little bit. I think it's already a decision that's been made. We saw the vote today.
Sure.
It was 3-2, so it's a very partisan vote. You'll notice that one of the commissioners is an ex-Verizon executive. Another one Wheeler used to work for Comcast. He's the chairman. Mm-hmm. And so, there are already these ties to the industry when they're supposed to be serving the public interest. A lot of people tied to the FCC already have very deep roots in the companies who are really trying to battle this. So this is kind of save face and say, hey, we're listening to you. We're going to put this up for public comment for a few months. But, the cynic in me says it's not going to really do much unless, something crazy happens and we really raise the big stink.